All right, for this question, it says, part A, determine whether the relation represents y as a function of x. Okay, if y is a function of x, that means that every x, which would be considered your input, can only have one output to go with it. That's one way to explain it. The other way, I've said this before, I'm a visual learner. And when I see equations like these that have x's and y's in them, I always try to give myself a visual of what the graph would look like. Now, for part A, you have an x that is to the first power, but the y is to the second power. That means that the graph of this function will only cross the x-axis once, but it'll cross the y-axis twice. And the only way that that can happen is it comes down, it hits the y-axis, it hits the x-axis, and then it has to curve and turn and hit the y-axis again, but keep moving away from the x. And then I like to just simply use the vertical line test. And if I draw a vertical line through this graph, it crosses it in two places. Both of these points have the exact same x coordinate, which would be whatever it is right here. Let's say it's, a -2. Then this point here has an x coordinate of -2, and then whatever its y coordinate is, I don't know, right here, let's say it's a -4. And then this point up here has an x coordinate of -2, and then whatever its y coordinate is, I don't know, let's say it's 1. I didn't label it very well, so. But you can see that you have an input of -2 that gives you two different y outputs. And in function land, that's a no-no. So, for part A, I would simply say, no, the relation does not represent a function. And then I can do the same thing for part B. X squared plus y squared equals 4. That graph, because it has an x, let me just use a highlighter on this one. Because it has an x squared, it has to cross the x-axis twice. And because it has a y squared, it has to cross the y-axis twice. And the only way that that can happen is if it kind of goes around in some type of a circular motion. It's going to hit the y-axis in two places. Let me make this a little smaller. Two places here and here. And then it's going to cross the x-axis two places here and here. And, I don't know where it'll be and how big of a circle it'll be. I'm not going to worry about that. I just know, in general, it's going to cross the x-axis twice and the y-axis twice. And once again, vertical line test fails because it crosses in two places, which means you have 2 points that have the same input but different outputs. And again, that's a no-no in function land. So that's not a function. That's the best way I can explain it. There are other ways you can explain it too. Like solving for y and trying to figure out, if you plug in 1x, will you get 2y answers? But that involves a lot of algebra, and I just, I like the visual thing and knowing what the exponents mean in the equation. So, anyway, hope that helps that.